Masha. Just such a privilege. And your last name is Pavlova? Is it
Pavlova, absolutely.
Pavlova? Okay. I was like,
Hmm.
okay, I think I got it.
So
We're
good to be here, Becky.
Thank you. We're celebrating like just like I can see all those wonderful big balloons behind you. It is a day of celebration. Today we're so happy to announce the book launch for the fifth in the series of Brilliant Breakthroughs for the Small Business Owner. So excited to I have read your chapter. I've enjoyed all the chapters. Your chapter was particularly interesting, and the steps of resolving internal conflict. And I just kind of want to get to capture the essence of who you are in this conversation. So tell us about how you show up in the world today. What is it that you bring?
Thank you so much, Becky. So, what I bring is really a new way of looking at yourself in business and in life because we tend to think that things happen to us. And similarly to what Carrie was saying in her interview, we have so much control and so much power over what happens in our life and in our business. And my goal in my life, my mission, is to give people that choice back, to give people that power back in order to create the life that they truly want and deserve.
Beautiful. That is beautiful. And
Mhm.
what prompted you to decide to write a chapter for the game for the Brilliant Breakthroughs for the Small Business Owner?
Well, it's a no-brainer. I've been following the series for quite some time, and I know a lot of the authors who have been part of it. So it was a huge honor to be invited to be part of the series. And not only that, but really one of my biggest values is collaboration and really the approach of how much more we can do when we work together. And so the fact that that we have 10 incredible business authors that came together and had this happen, and especially being right now behind the scenes and seeing the incredible teamwork and what goes into the entire process, it really stands for everything that I believe in. And that's how I think we win. It's win cubed, as Mike Raber puts it.
Keep talking because I'm going to sneeze. I'm just
Oh,
like,
bless you in advance. But yeah, so essentially, what the old models teach us, and one of my missions is to really break down the old models that exist out in the world, the old models of how we do business, especially. We have a very divisive model that we follow in business and in life, where if I'm in business for me, and it kind of creates every time I do something, it creates my own bubble, and I'm going to be over here. Versus what we're really drawn to right now, what's really changing. Especially with the pandemic, people are realizing that there's only so far you can get by yourself, and nobody who truly makes it ever does it on their own. And so there is a different approach where we can all come together. I can bring my brilliance. I can bring my 100% when I have 100%, but there are others who have brilliances where I have struggles. And there are days that I'm not going to be feeling like 100%. And so having that team, that community around you allows you to maintain the traction of moving forward, even when you're not able to carry yourself.
oh, that's beautiful because it's so very true.
Yeah.
The collaboration piece, and it's been the ongoing theme for each of these interviews is I think each interview has mentioned the collaboration piece as being so vital to really our success because without collaborating, we're not meant to be loners. We're not out there all by ourselves, and we're not meant to be, and we really can't serve the world in the right way with being a loner.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you talk about in your chapter on your 5 steps to resolving internal conflict about several things. You talk about a conscious pause. What does that mean?
So that's a great question, Becky. Thank you for asking. What happens is we have this habit loop that keeps us going, that we're so used to, and it a lot of times what happens is there's a conflict that arises because that's life, business. Things happen, things challenge us all the time, and what happens too often is we rush through the process of resolution to the conflict, and that resolution that we come up with in the moment actually stems from the same area as the problem itself. And so, what we find, and what I start my chapter with, is something that happened to me over and over again. I kept finding myself in the exact same spot where I'm facing the same problem I thought I had fixed so many times, and yet I keep landing back in that same space. And I think it's so familiar to so many of us. And so the conscious pause is really the beginning to give you that choice back, to be able to pause, to have enough awareness in the moment to not react, and to be able to step back enough to observe what's really happening internally, allows you to make a choice within your values to move forward and actually resolve the problem versus continue the cycle over and over again.
Right. Not taking any time to really breathe through those kind of things that are so important, really, to the life of what we're bringing to the world. Because I
Hmm.
think each one of us are here to be impactful influencers to really make a difference in the world, and yet it still starts within.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you also talk about external disturbance. What
Mm.
are you talking about there?
So, one of my observations over the last decade or so in doing research and really observing people and how they work, how they act, I have a huge fascination with psychology and neurology. And so, what I found is that we, as human beings, we tend to first and foremost focus on the external, thinking that the problem is out there. Now, what I believe is that, there are people that try to fight it. There are people that try to change their habits very, very abruptly. But what I truly believe in is if we work with our habits that we already have and we just build on them, we actually use the traction that they've already created, we can reach results much quicker and with a lot more peace and ease. And so, using that momentum of looking externally, using that as a starting point, we can then, while being in that pause, we can work with that cycle, but be able to have a different awareness, different seat of awareness to gain a different perspective on the
That's
problem.
very, very interesting. And you talk about both internal and external blame. And I think that all ties together with what you were just saying in the sense that it's easy to blame ourselves, very easy to get into that rut of, well, I'm just not good enough, all that kind of whatever. And
Yes.
also maybe from those that are outside of our realm that would maybe say, "Well, she doesn't know what she's doing," type of thing. You know, is that
Yeah.
more in line with what you're talking about?
It is, right? So what happens is, we start out looking externally, we see what the problem is, and then in the next step, as we focus on what is the internal dialogue saying to you about the external problem. Now, really quickly, if you don't know what internal dialogue I'm talking about, if you're like, what internal dialogue? If you're thinking that without opening your mouth, that's the internal dialogue right there.
What is that
And
stuff?
so yeah, we all have it. It's all there. And so being able to address that and really see what is the internal dialogue saying, slow down enough, be in that conscious pause, because allowing yourself permission to really observe from the sidelines without the judgment being there will truly be eye-opening, because and sometimes hurtful, right? Because we tell ourselves really hurtful things, or it's either that, or if we're blaming the external world, a lot of times we'll play victim, or we'll say, oh, it's just the marketplace, or it's just where I live, or it's just this, or it's just that. And what you're truly doing, and it's important to recognize this, is you're giving away your power. So what my chapter is really meant to do is to give you your power back. And the way you reclaim that is say, oh, what is my internal dialogue saying? Where am I putting the blame? Is it internal on myself, saying I'm not good enough, or is it placing the blame on something outside of me and giving up that control?
Fascinating. Well, I can see why Maggie, reached out to you to be a part of this chapter. It's pretty fascinating to watch the flow of this. And this is what she says: Masha is a dynamo who will be bending our ears and minds for decades to come. Centuries ago, reformers took the world by surprise. In the 21st century, we call reformers disruptors. Masha is a disruptor for the greater good. She has an uncanny ability to be with people, understand their stance, and invite them to engage with her. She does not create spars. Her approach is one of respect and invitation on an inquiry. Masha is a highly accomplished business owner who deals with the reality of ownership, continually owning and the ugliness of struggles and celebrating the victorious breakthroughs. Couldn't be worded any better from this beautiful conversation.
Thank you.
So what
And
is it
thank you,
that
Maggie.
so what is it that you would, if somebody picks up this book and reads this chapter, what do you want them to walk away with?
Becky, it really comes back to that choice. It's really coming back to you, once you gain understanding, once you gain the awareness of the process that's happening internally, you can choose to continue doing what you've been doing, right? I think that's a motif throughout the book, right? We are not here to tell you anything new. All we're doing is we're bringing awareness to you, and giving you the tools to move forward if you choose to do so. And so, what my chapter brings, and I also am providing a free tool as part of it, kind of to help you, to help guide you through that process for yourself, is to really have you say, is my choice, is my action that I'm taking in line with my values and in line with the mission and the goal that I'm trying to achieve? Is it in line with my business? Is it actually taking me from where I am right now to where it is that I want to go? Is it taking the challenge that it's presented to me and utilizing it as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to get better, an opportunity to have a brilliant breakthrough? Or am I going to choose to react and keep in the old habit loop and continue to come back to the same lesson over and over again? So my biggest mission, my biggest goal with this chapter is really to have people gain the awareness, and through their awareness, gain the choice of doing something differently to be more in tune and more in line with what they want to achieve.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. It's
Hmm.
just it's been such a joy to interview you and all the other ones so far today, and we have a few more yet to come. And
Hmm.
for anybody that's listening, be sure that in this stream on the chat, I hope that wherever you're watching from, that you'll be able to pick up the link to this book, and you'll notice that there's 4 other books on the series, and make sure you pick up all 5 of them if that's what your heart leads you to do. But thank you so much for what you bring to the world and how you shine in your own very, very unique and special way, and what a contribution you are to this amazing book series. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Becky. Thank you
Nice
for
to
having me
meet
on the
you.
show.
Thank you. Bye bye.